Good day and welcome to Predators Proclivity, where we look at data from the season for the NHL Nashville Predators and make comments upon it. I am your host, Preston Brockter. Wow. Couple of trades. 3 trades listed as of yesterday, although it kind of looked like the Edmonton-Pittsburgh trade actually came out on Thursday because I saw December 11th in one place, but maybe by the time it was technically official. So Edmonton traded with Pittsburgh. They traded primary goaltenders. I think if I got this right, Tristan Jarry with Pittsburgh was pretty much splitting time with the other goaltender, and Stuart Skinner was the primary goaltender for Edmonton. And so those two guys swapped teams. Edmonton also got Samuel Poulin, and then Pittsburgh got defenseman Brett Kulak and a second-round pick in the 2029 draft. So Pittsburgh got goalie Stuart Skinner, defenseman Brett Kulak, and a second-round pick. And Edmonton got goalie Tristan Jarry and forward Samuel Poulin. So there you go. And then in order, what I read, in order to make up that they no longer had this 30-year-old expensive defenseman, Edmonton made a trade with Nashville for Spencer Stastny for a third-round pick in the 2027 draft. I don't know why Nashville took that pick. That would why they made that trade. I really don't know. I don't think. Let's see. Taking a quick look at draft picks. This was 2027 draft pick. So they got another third. Well, that gives them four third-round draft picks, 4 third-round draft picks in 2027. So they got a first round, second round, 4 third rounds, 2 fourth rounds, a 5th, 6th, and a 7th. So they're very flush with draft picks. It does not look like they needed another draft pick. I don't know. Looking up the Nashville lineup, I don't see that Nashville really had a need to get rid of a goaltender. A defenseman. Granted, they didn't have. I mean, they got Yossi, Skay, Haig, Perbix, and Barron, all $1 million and up. $9 million for Yossi, 7 for Skay. Both of those have no trade. No trade. Is that no trade? Cannot be traded. Haig at $5.5 million, Perbix at $2.75, Barron at $1.15. Then Wilsby and Blankenberg entry-level contracts. Wilsby's injured. Yeah, Wilsby's injured. So they're kind of short of defensemen. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, they have, they've got some good defensemen that are down in, or up in Milwaukee. Andreas Englund and Jordan Osterley have both played significantly with the Preds. I think Englund played with the Preds for quite a bit last year. So I don't know. I don't know why they did that trade. I thought Stastny was doing well here. When you take a look at stats for the road, he's up there on assists, which would make him attractive. And so I don't know. A third-round pick, at first I thought, well, that's kind of bad. A third-round pick next year I might have been a little happier with. But, yeah, I mean, I guess his potential is definitely better than that, right? I think. My comments from training camp was that he was a touch slow, and maybe he still is. So maybe that's why they felt like they could get rid of him. I don't know. I wasn't happy. He went to Notre Dame. Prudence went to Notre Dame, so we always kind of look out for the Notre Dame players. It's fun to have somebody on your team that from your college. So, not happy to see that, but hopefully he'll do well and go into Edmonton. But yeah, so anyway, so those two trades happen, and then in the Vancouver has given up the season. They traded their captain, defenseman Quinn Hughes, to Minnesota for forwards Marco Rossi, Liam Ogren, defenseman Zeev Buin, and a first-round pick next year. So 3 players and a first-round pick. Yeah, so I mean, how many first-round picks is Vanderbilt going to have next year? They got their own. They are kind of looking like they're trying to be like last. They've got 2 first-round picks now. The pick value 14.49. 14.49. What? Oh, that's it. That's the number I was looking for. I couldn't find that number early. I was trying to figure out what the relative value of the pick that they got for Stastny was, and I wasn't finding it, but now I see it. 2027, third round pick, 2.05. Yeah, that's what I thought. For Stastny being, I think his potential is worth more than that. But just take a look at the contract. I mean, 800-something thousand player defenseman. That's probably good compensation for that pick. But the question is, why did they do it? They didn't have to do it. Unless they really do think they get too many defensemen and they're not getting enough playing time. And, it was a good opportunity to get some value for a player. So, yeah, anyway, again, not the happiest about that. But, that's how professional sports go. Anyway, that's major transactions. Yeah, I got a few coming over the wire. Like I said, it does not look... Or it kind of sounds like Vancouver is giving up because it doesn't seem reasonable for them to be trading away one of their best players if they haven't given up on the season. And 31 games in, they're 25th spot. If we take a look at the wild card. They're in the bottom of the league right now, and that puts them 8 points. They're only 8 points out of a playoff spot. Played 31 games, so they played one less game than San Jose that's currently in that spot. It's a little early to give up on the season, but they must have felt like it was a good move. So, welcome to the bottom, Vancouver. I guess you're going to try to stay there. Anyway, moving on to tonight's game. I am a little late doing this, I will admit. It's 2:30 as I'm recording this. We had a few things we needed to do first thing this morning, and so I was ready to go, but wasn't able to get here into the studio until late. Still ahead of the game time. Game time is late, or today, 8 o'clock because it's in Colorado. So 7 o'clock local time. So yeah, we are playing the Colorado Avalanche in Colorado. Colorado is first in the Central Division with 51 points. They are 22-2-7 at home. A whopping 12-0, 0 losses, and 2 overtime losses. They are the top team in the league. Next up is Dallas, also a Central Division team. The top 2 teams in this league this year are Western Conference, Central Division teams. Haven't watched NHL tonight, but they're probably talking about, I don't know, Toronto or who knows. Anyhow, and then after After Dallas comes Carolina and Washington. They are 11 points behind Colorado. 11. Carolina has played one more game than Colorado. Washington has played the same number of games. So that means that those two teams, those two Eastern Conference teams, are 7 points behind Dallas, who's in second place in the Western Conference and in the Central Division. Colorado is the only team left without a home loss in regulation. Without a home loss in regulation. How many times can we say that? Can we check? I'm feeling good about this, people. That 0 is going to be a 1 at some point. That 0 is going to be a 1 at some point. The interesting thing is they have 2 overtime losses, but they have no overtime wins. So that's it's kind of an interesting place they are in right now. For them, this is the last. It is. The notes are right. I'm just on edge, really thinking I need to be on edge for my my production team getting it wrong. But it is the last of a 2-game homestand. They are 1-0 after beating Florida 6-2 on Thursday. Next up for them is crazy. Their next 6 games alternate away and home. So they're at Seattle, then they're home versus Winnipeg, then they're at Minnesota, then they're home versus Utah, then they're at Vegas, and they're home versus Los Angeles, and then they're home versus St. Louis. But the next 6 games is alternating away and home. I guess the only good news in that equation is that none of those are back-to-back situations. For this series, it is the third of 4 versus Nashville. It's the first one in Colorado. The series is 1-0-1. Both teams getting a win, and both teams, both teams getting a win. I guess the Preds are 1-1. So, and the next time they will meet will be January 16th in Colorado, in Denver. Last year, the home team did win all, and that is not true this year. Colorado took the first one here in Nashville. As far as personnel changes, they're in a little better shape than when they were here a couple days ago. Right wing 54, Gavin Brindley has come off the injured list, back in the lineup. He was expected back on the 9th. He did not play in the game versus Nashville. I didn't check to see if he played against Florida, but he wasn't back on the 9th, but he's back now. The other 2 players that were on injured list are still on the injured list. Number 94 left wing Joel Kiviranta, expected back on the 13th, which is today. And then number 25 right wing Logan O'Connor, expected back on the 27th of December. It had been today, but has been pushed back 2 weeks. For your Nashville Predators, they are 8th in the Central with 28 points, 12-14-4 at home. Who cares? They're on the road. They are 4-6-2 on the road. 1 point behind Winnipeg in the division. And then next up is St. Louis, whom the Preds beat the other night, but they won the back end of their back-to-back, playing Chicago last night. So they are 3 points ahead of Nashville, but they have played 3 more games. As far as things go in the league standing, we've already talked about Vancouver, who is in the bottom. The Preds being 3 points ahead of Vancouver and playing 1 less game. Nashville is tied with Calgary, but have played 2 less games than Calgary. Buffalo apparently got tired of being mentioned of being in the bottom and has kind of creeped up a little bit. So don't need to mention them anymore. I think St. Louis is just to be just to be for sure here on this podcast, I'll take a quick look. We've got Vancouver, Calgary, Nashville, Winnipeg. Yeah, that's right, Winnipeg. St. Louis jumped past Winnipeg, Buffalo, and Seattle. So, middle of December. Middle of December. Yeah. At the end of December. Well, the trade deadline is sometime in February. I haven't started looking at the trade deadline. But anyway, as far as this, this is the first of a 2-game road trip. Monday, they will play St. Louis. Then after that, there's 3 at home, Wednesday, Carolina, and then a back-to-back Toronto Saturday and the Rangers on Sunday. And I guess preview at some point, I will be traveling for, probably that Toronto, New York will be one whole podcast, and then I'll do a podcast for the next 2, which are both away. Maybe I'll just wrap it up and do all 3, Minnesota, St. Louis, and Utah. So, and then we'll be back for the 31st, probably something along those lines. My schedule's not set yet, but yeah, most likely I'm going to be doing, the Toronto, New York back-to-back on the 20th, 21st, I would definitely be doing as one. I mean, they're both here at home, so that's the situation is going to be the same. You can talk about those games as it goes with regards to Nashville and home. And then, I suppose whether I talk about 2 teams or 3 away teams, I don't suppose it's going to make too much difference. And then I don't have to stress about whether or not I'm back here by the 29th or not. Who knows? Maybe I'll get a bonus podcast for Utah. I guess we'll see. But just a little bit future warning about what was coming up in my schedule. It is that time of year. So anyway, that is where the Preds are in their schedule. Stastny has been traded, and as far as other personnel issues, Cole Smith still the 13th, come back. Leroux the 27th, Barron the 15th, and Weisblatt February. So nothing new. And nothing new on the transaction list with, you'd think there would be a defenseman being called up. Because what do we have? Previewing the lineups for tonight's game. What do we have? We've got Willsby. Oh, Weisblatt, right? Okay, it's Willsby and Blankenberg. Okay, Skay, Pervix, Haig, and Yossi. So, okay. Yeah, maybe that's why. I mean, Blankenberg's been playing well. Willsby has definitely got an edge. I thought Stastny was doing fine too, but, there you go. That's what we got. They say Wedgwood should be in goal tonight, and for the Preds, it's unknown. Wedgwood was in the goal the other night for Colorado in that shootout loss. And then, why do I do this? I stopped doing this, trying to predict goaltenders. Saros has been in goal for the 3 last 5 games. The last 5. Next weekend will be a back-to-back. I would think Anunen's going to get some work between now and then. Maybe Colorado isn't the team to do it against, but no, I guess we'll see. All right, takes us to stats. Here we go. 25-26 game info. All right, so first goal, this game, let's see, where are we at? We're on the road. We are on the road. And the first goal, how many data points do we have? 12. We got 12 data points, so it's just not awesome. 12 data points, which is not awesome. Okay, so the first goal, if the Preds get it, they're 2-0-1. If they don't, they're 2-6-1. And that's kind of interesting. In either situation, they've won 2 and an overtime loss in 1. And then when they haven't gotten it, they got 6 additional losses. So that's kind of it's kind of an interesting the way those numbers line up. Of course, they've gotten the first they've gotten the first goal 3 times and not getting it 9. But good news. I mean, it's 3 data points. What do you want? But when they got it, they got a point every time. Overall, when they get it, they are 7-2-2. So I guess I feel like I need to talk a little bit about overall because we've got so few data points when it comes to just the road games. I should have looked that up. Maybe I've got that stat somewhere. The number, I should have it somewhere. A number of teams that have played less road games. I don't think it's that many. When they don't get it overall, they're 5-12-2. So almost a 3-1 advantage overall, and it's 3-1, maybe slightly more than 3-1. On the road, 2-6-1. You have to throw that overtime loss as a loss, so you get a point, but it's a loss, right? So win or lose, it's 7-2-2. So, yeah, the first goal when they get it, it's starting to be an advantage to get it, and I have to say it's starting to be less of a disadvantage not to. But, that's the first goal. Winning by period on the road, you're not going to like this. 1-8-3 in the first period. That is on the road. 1-8-3. 12 games and 2/3 of the time they've lost the first period. Of course, they'd only score. I think they only scored 2 goals in the first period, so it makes it really hard to win the period when you only score 2 goals all season. So I think the fact they're 1-8-3. Well, the one win obviously was when they got 1 goal, and the other time they got a goal on the road must have been a tie in the first period. I just start talking about this stuff, and I just get so confused. Now I guess the first time they got a goal on the road, that was actually a loss. That was against the Rangers. They lost the period, lost the game, but they did get a goal. And then against Detroit, 5 games later, they got a goal in the first period and won that game 6-3. That was that 5-goal extravaganza in the third period. But, yeah, sorry. So, I mean, just these numbers just look so difficult, and there's no reason for things to look better tonight. Colorado at home haven't lost. They haven't lost yet. But anyway, 1-8-3 in the first. Funny, when they have gotten the first goal, 1-0-2. And in the period, that's only happened once. So 3 times they've gotten the first goal, but twice it had to be the second period, right? First goal, and in the period twice, and 2-0-0 in the second period when they get the first goal, 1-0-0 in the first period when they get the first. Yeah. Goal and end period. Yeah, funny when the first goal is no, and it's in the period. They are 0-8-0. Well, they've only scored 2 goals. Yeah, and the one time they scored a goal and didn't win the period, they lost the period. So nothing surprising about that. Just expect that number to get better over time. The second period looks a little bit better. 3-4-5. 3-4-5. 3-4-5 in the second period, 6-5-1 in the third. So actually a winning record in the third period, which is shocking. When they don't get the first goal, it's actually 4-4-1. So it's and you never get the goal in the third. Well, you rarely get the first goal in the third period. Let's just put it that way. It hasn't happened yet this season. So, when they get the first goal, they're 2-1, 2-1-0 in the third period. So, yeah, the third period looks pretty good regardless. 6-5-1. 3-4-5. Not bad in the second period. Just the first period. On the road, they have not come out good. Hopefully we'll see a different result tonight. That would be better. Oh, and then how that correlates to wins and losses. Well, let's see. They're 4-6-2. So first period, when correlates, when the one time that they won the first period, they won the game. 8 times they've lost the first period. They've won 2 of those. So that's actually not so bad, especially given that generally they don't score in the first period. So 2-6, if they lose it, that's not bad. If they tie at 1-2, which you'd like to see that be a little bit better, but that's what it is. In the second period, when they've won it, they're 2-1. So that's handy. When they lose it 1-3, same ratio there as the first period with regards to losing. So I guess a 3-1 chance of losing if they lose the second period. And then when they tie the second period 1-4, so that's not very good. So the only good stat there is the 2-1 when they win. And I'd like that to be better, but let's move to the third period. The third period, 6 times they've tied it, and they're 3-3. So coin flip, if they lose the third period, they lose the game. If they tie the third period, they won that one game. So 5 times they lost it, and they lost all 5 once they tied it. 6 times they won it, and it's 3-3. Taking away the empty net goals, the 6 times that they've won the third period, they're actually 2-4, and then 0-3 when they lose, 2-1 when they tie. So but I guess maybe that's not as. I think that's kind of interesting because taking out the empty nets and you can kind of see, like Colorado beat them 3-0 the first game. 2 of those were empty net goals. So I mean, they really had lost 1-0, and in desperation tried to tie the game, and desperate measures fell on desperate ears, I guess. Correlating what happens between the first and second period on the road, we'll stick with that, even though we don't have that many data points. The thing is, what's this to 12? So they played 12 games, and 5 times, so almost half of the games they played, they've lost the first and tied the second. So almost half of the times, that's the result, and it's not a good result. 1-3-1. At least there's a win in there, but 1-3-1. So their most frequent result for the combinatorics of the first 2 periods has a really bad result. There's 2 scenarios that have happened twice, which includes losing the first and losing the second. The 8 times they've lost the first, right? So that's going to be the most frequent thing. And losing the first and winning the second, they did win that game. So that's good. But that only happened once. The other 2-time scenario is tying the first and winning the second, and 1-0-1. So not great, but that's something. They've never won the first and won the second. They have never won the first and tied the second, and they have never tied the first and tied the second. So rooting for ties is only something to do when they're at home. So don't root for ties tonight. I guess the scenario where they've won the most games, even though it's only 3 data points, is to win the second. And when they've lost the first and won the second, they've won that game and tied the first and won the second and won 0-1. So they have never lost when they have tied the second period on the road. So that is their best record. So you got to pull for them to win the second. I could do that. Yeah, win the second. I mean, it was those of you who have been longtime listeners. One of the reasons why I started accumulating this data and looking at it, and eventually this podcast to do something with it, was because I felt like the Preds were terrible at home. They were bad in the second period. I thought they were worse at home. And this would have been 2 seasons ago. So they actually made the playoffs that season, but I just really felt like their worst period was at home in the second period, and I was right. And this season, the first period on the road is undoubtedly the worst period. They need to find a way to get off to a quicker, better start. So that's the correlations, and next up is the goal information, which is when we'll start into these spreadsheets again. That's with that's with the matchups. So I think I pretty much fumbled as bad as I thought I was going to fumble in the last podcast looking at the new data. I've corrected some of the totals. I've seen it now a little bit more, so at least I ought to know what I'm looking at. So hopefully I can make it make a lot more sense to those of you listening to this. But anyway, so winning goals. So what happened the other night? Who did they play the other night? I've just completely St. Louis. They played St. Louis the other night, didn't they? 1-7-2. Well, again, that doesn't really matter because that one, the winning goal would have been in the second period, but that wasn't the last road game. So actually what would be more interesting is the road game, but unfortunately that's the 6-3 loss to Carolina. And the first goal was scored in the first period. The winning goal in the second period there too. Okay, so looking at the road stats, and granted, again, we only have 12 data points, so it's not the best. But the third period is the one right now with the most winning goals in it, with 4. Overtime and second period have 3, and the first period has 2. So it looks like the Preds have never been to a shootout on the road. When the Preds win, it's 4 wins, so 3 times it's been the third period. When they lose, 3 times it was in the second period, which is the predominant period. I guess that's buttressed by the game against Carolina. They've got 3 now. When the Preds lose on the road, the winning goal has been scored twice in the first period and overtime, and only once in the third. Looking at the home team winning versus the road team winning, 16 times in the Preds schedule, the home team has won. And predominantly in the second period is when the winning goal is being scored, with 5, which is 31%. Evenly between the first, third, and overtime, 3. And then quickly close behind, 2 for the shootout. So that's pretty mind-numbing. When the road team wins, fingers crossed, knock on wood, predominantly the third period by a 2-1 margin, 6 times, 6 out of the 14. So almost half the times the road team wins in the Preds games, they get the winning goal in the third period. That's 43%. Overtime and second have the next most, which is 3, and then the first period has 2. So, so there you go. When the winning goal is getting scored. And then goal scoring on the road, the Preds have been outscored 2-15 in the first, 2-15 in the first. And when they've won, they've still been outscored 1-2. I mean, they only scored 2 goals in the first period all season. That's going to change. Oh, how about Stamkos the other night? 4 goals. I knew he would get his goals. I said that in a previous podcast. He's going to get his goals. Can't stop him. He's going to get them. You can try. Teams do. When the Preds lose the first period, they're being outscored 13-1. Well, what a stat that is. As the first period on the road, just, gee whiz. You just got to cross your fingers and hope the Preds can get out of it. There's a real problem here. A real problem here. I mean, the Preds have problems with scoring. Looking at the second period, it's better. How could it be worse? I mean, I guess it could be worse. It could be 0, right? But it's not. 9-12. So they're being outscored by 3 in the second period. When they win, they're only outscoring their opponents by 1, 4-3. And when they lose, they're being outscored 5-9, which is 4 goals. I mean, 4 goals over how many times they've lost? 8. I mean, so yeah, it's not. I mean, you look at that and go, well, it's not awful. It's not awful, but it's not good. But the saving grace is here, the third period. Oh my gosh, they have outscored their opponents 20-16. Interesting number here. Win or lose, the Preds have scored 10 goals. Another interesting number. When the Preds win, the opponents have scored 3, and when the Preds win, the opponents have scored 3, and when the opponents win, 13. So 3-13, 3-13, and the Preds 10-10. So it's kind of interesting when you see numbers like that. But yeah, so the Preds, when they've lost, have only been outscored by 3. A whopping out of 23 goals scored, by far and away the highest goal scoring in, especially given the number of games. I mean, they played 12 road games. They've been 36 goals. I mean, it's three goals a game in the third period. I mean, whew. At home, is that 20, 38, and then 36 in the second period, and 34. Pretty evenly spread, 34. Yeah, pretty evenly spread for the Preds, goal scoring and being scored against. Total goals, that is, 53-60. But yeah, the 36, right? So yeah, I guess 38, but that's over 18. That's 50% more games, though, the amount of goals scored in the period. So the third period on the road, whew, sit back and watch. Yeah. Goal scoring with us. Okay, so then the thing I seem to forget because it's not on the same page is the difference in goal scoring when in the second and third period on the road when the Preds come into those periods winning, tied, or losing. Now, the greatest scenario is coming into those periods losing. 8 times, they played 12 games, right? 12 games. 8 times they've come into the second period losing. 9 times they've come into the third period losing out of 12 games. So that's a lot. I mean, they've come into the second period tied 3 times, and they've come into the third period tied 0. And then they've come into the first period, well, of course, I mean, once. They've come into the second period winning once. They've come into the third period winning 3 times. Not a lot. Not a lot. So what have we got? The scenarios with a lot of them, hey, it's not awful. 8 times they've come into the second period losing. They've been outscored 6-8. That's out of 8 times, right? So, about a goal a game. Coming to the third period losing, they have been outscored 10-12. Now, the good news there is that there are 4 empty net goals for the opponents and 1 for the Preds. So they actually, when they come into the third period losing, they actually are outscoring the opponents 9-8 when you take out the empty nets. So I think that's a positive. And the tied, they've come into the second period tied 3 times, and they've outscored the opponents 3-2. Again, it has not happened to come into the third period tied on the road. Once they came into the second period winning, 1 goal, remember, and they got outscored 0-2. And then in the third period, they've come into the third period winning 3 times, have outscored the opponents 5-4, but 2 of those were empty nets for the Preds, so they're actually being outscored 3-4 in those 3 games. So it's not ideal, but there are worse numbers. And that takes us to the matchups. Okay, let's cross our fingers and hope I know how to read my what am I doing? Read my spreadsheets. Thank you. Let's try to get a neuron to fire. Neuron, fire. Okay. We are playing. This one still says St. Louis. This should not say St. Louis. It should say Colorado. And yeah, it should say Colorado. So let's take care of that. And get on our production staff for not. Yeah, we'll talk about St. Louis again. Monday. But today is a day for Colorado. So, let's see. The Preds are on the road, and it was goals for. So we'll talk a little bit overall and then on the per game. So we have the per game stuff, and we'll find a way to get through this. Okay. Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. That's what that is. I knew there was something I wanted to know, and it's in the other spreadsheet, right? Which is the number of teams. Okay, so let me bring this up real quick and see if I can get this to make sense. All right, and that way I can see all this data at once. All right, sorry about that. I knew there was something I needed to do, and I blew it. Okay, so goals for, goals against. Preds are on the road. Colorado has played 14 games at home. Nashville has played 12 games on the road. And what a on the road. Okay. On the road. Okay. So, for Colorado, there are 22 teams that have played more home games than they have, 8 that have played the same, and 2 that have played less. So in general, their numbers are really pretty much, in the bottom. For the Preds, similarly, 28 teams have played more games, 3 have played the same, and 1 is the bottom. So these stats that we're looking at here, if we look at them just in their rank in the league, would be biased because both of these teams have not played nearly as many teams in this in this scenario as others, right? But okay, saying that, goals for. Now remember, 22 teams have played more games than Colorado. Colorado is tops in the league in scoring. They are top in the league in scoring with 67 goals. 67 goals, if goals for, that turns out to be 4.79, which is the max, which on the minimum for at home is 1.71. The average is 3.06. The max is 4.79. So they are the top team in the league, not just on goals, but per game, and that's probably by a pretty decent margin. So where are they getting these goals? Where are they getting them? It looks like it's fairly evenly spread out, fairly even, maybe a little weighted towards the second and third. They're getting 19 in the first, 25 in the second, 23 in the third. So on a per game basis, they're getting 1.36 goals. Again, that's the max. They're first in the league. They're first. All right, here's the deal. On a per game basis, Colorado is scoring the most goals every period. 1.36 in the first, 1.79 in the second, 1.64 in the third. Those are the max scores, period, in the league. So on a per game basis, they're tops. when it comes to their rankings, and remember, 22 teams have played more games than they have. And what's that? Do I have that range somewhere? Do I have the power play goals? I don't have the ranges of. That's what I need. The ranges of where teams have played. Okay, but anyway, so so 1.36, 179, and 164 first, second, and third on a per game basis when 22 teams have played more games. So on average, 0.87, home teams are scoring 0.87. And as I said, Colorado's 1.36, so that's half a goal. On average, 1.07 in the second, Colorado 1.79, so it's 0.7 of a goal more. And then the third actually goes down. That was something kind of interesting that I noticed. Right now, at least for home teams, the scoring between the second and third actually declines. Overall, between the second and third, the goal scoring goes up. But for home teams, the scoring actually declines almost 2%. Across the league, goals scored in the second period for the home team, 527 to 517. Now, overall, it does go up. It goes up 4%, and that's what it did last year. Last year, overall, from the second to the third period, goal scoring increased 7%. But so far for the home team, it actually declines, and it does decline here for the Avalanche. They go from 25 to 23. But as far on a per game basis, they're in the third period, they're scoring 1.64, and the average is 1.5, so almost 0.6. So their goal scoring is kind of off the charts at home, and that, I guess, explains why they're 12-0-2. At home, they're just overpowering at home. Okay, so where are they weak? Okay, let's just go on to the goals again. Let's just keep talking about Colorado because this is where we're at, right? So obviously, maybe not obviously. So yeah, the goals against for Colorado, they've had 29 goals scored against them, which is last in the league, 32nd in being scored against, and they're one of the teams at the bottom number of games being played, so all that makes sense. But on a per game basis as well, they're last in the league, being scored on overall 2.07, just over 2 goals a game, and on average it's just under 3. So they're about a goal better on a per game basis being scored against. Now, so that's overall. In the first period, they are 16th in the league. Now, and that doesn't bode well for where they're at overall, because remember, there are 22 teams that have played more games than them. So being right in the middle of the league, that's a lot, actually. I mean, given everything else we've looked at. So they're giving up a goal a game. A goal a game actually puts them 6th in the league. Giving up a goal a game is above average. So on average, they are giving up goals more, than the league. And so, okay, that's the first. So that's good news. On the second, they're back to their old ways, 29th in the league, giving up 10. 10 is 0.71, and league average is 0.96. So that's about a quarter of a goal less. The third period, bottom of the league, 5 goals. They've given up 5 goals total at home in the third period. And that's 0.36, and league average is 1.07. So, 3/4 of a goal, just about. They're more. That's kind of interesting, right? Because the Preds have only scored 2 goals in the first period, and that's where the standard deviation and everything comes in, and be kind of interesting to see, a little bit more of depth because, you throw out the high and the low and, figure out whatever, maybe it's not so bad. But it does look like if Colorado's going to give up a goal, it's going to be in the first period. So let's look at the Preds. Now, the Preds, remember, have played 12 games on the road, and which is less than four other teams. Well, I guess three other teams. I guess we're counting that 30, 32. Okay, so 28 teams have played more games than the Preds. All right, so you can't expect their numbers to be, in the clouds, right? So overall, the Preds on the road have scored 32 goals, which is next to last in the league. They are scoring 2.67 goals a game. And on average, the league is scoring road teams are scoring 2.99. So, so what's that, a third of a goal overall for the game? The first period, well, 2 goals is going to be last. There's just nothing you can say about it. Those, goals 4.17, a league average of 0.86. So they're a long ways away. I don't really know how to accommodate this in any of these statistics because, the numbers are what the numbers are, right? But you just know this is going to change, right? There's a steady state. There's an equilibrium that's going to be reached at some point that you're not going to have a team that is this out of whack in the first period. Right, so maybe Colorado's the team we get a little healthier with, right? The last time we scored a goal in the first period, we doubled our output, right? So let's do it again tonight. That's what do you say? Get 2 goals in the first period against Colorado tonight, right? That would be good. I'd take that. Especially if they don't give up any goals, that would be something else. But this, that's just a number that's just not going to. Like I say, there's an equilibrium that gets reached. They're balance between where teams are at, and this is definitely an out of whack situation that is just at the end of the season. Just this is not going to be there. So anyway, but if that's where they're at, that's a huge delta, right? Because overall, they're just about a third of a goal behind league average. And here, they're like 0.7 of a goal. That's a lot. So, okay. Makes you think that the rest of the periods are going to be good, right? Well, it's not the second. I think I've preluded that already. They're just a raw number. They're 31st in the league. They've scored 9, not even double digits. But hey, they've only played 12 games, so yeah, okay. I dig 9. Dig it, dude. Oh man. And which is 0.75 goals for on the road, which is more respectable. 0.97 on the road is the league average, so you're still a quarter of a goal behind. But the first period was 0.7, so you're at this point you're about a goal behind league average. And then going to the third with 20 goals, the Preds are actually fifth in the league in scoring in the third period on the road, and as a per game average. 1.67, which is tops in the league. So this is interesting because the third period tonight will have the top per game scoring road team versus the top per game goal scoring home team. Well, that sounds interesting, except Colorado has only given up 5 goals in the third period. I made a prediction. I did. I kind of half remembered. I thought the Preds might come out even in the first period and maybe win the second. And I don't know why that was all. I don't know why. It was kind of fun to do, but anyway. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. The Preds are the top per game goal scoring team on the road in the league in the third period. Hey. There you go. So they're behind in the first and second, and then what's that? That's 0.6 ahead. It almost makes up for their differential in the first. Almost, but not quite. All right, well, there you go. So how about, remember, 28 teams have played more games. The Preds have given up 45 goals total, which is 17th in the league. 17th in the league. Their average is 3.75. They give up 3.75 goals per game on the road, and 3.07 is the average. The max is 4.2, which is actually, that's about a half a goal more. Who the heck is that? But the Preds are second. They're second in the league on a per game average, 3.75. So whoever's at 4.2, holy cow, who's at 4.2? I don't know if I can find this fast enough. Goals, we're looking at goals against, right? Goals against. The 4.4 on the road, right? Oh, yeah, sorry. It pays to look at the right spreadsheet. Sorry, I'm just 4 points. So there's only one team in the fours. Who's 4.2? 4.2 is this team. You can't see the 27th. Buffalo. Wow. All right. Buffalo's given up 4.2 goals a game, and yet they're higher in the higher in the standings than the Preds. What in the world? Where are they? Okay, sorry. I'm curious. Where is Buffalo in their division? They've got to be they got to be at the bottom. They're the first East Coast team. Yeah, 30 points, but they're only 2 points behind Ottawa. They're only 8 points behind Tampa Bay. And they're giving up 4.2 goals a game on the road. So, but the Preds are second in the league in per game average goals given up. Well, okay, all right. Maybe it's not that bad. Tried to find a segue. First period, they have given up 15, which is ninth in the league, which is 1.25 goals a game when the league average is 0.87. So they are second in the league again and giving up goals in the first period. Remember, Colorado is sixth in the league at home, giving up goals. Preds are second. From a giving up goals standpoint, it looks like there should be goals scored in the first. From a goal scoring standpoint, it looks like there should be goals scored in the third. Again, every goal is going to be in the second period tonight. You know it. All right, anyway. So they are second in the league. What about the second period? Second period, they've given up 12 goals, which is 27th, which is right down there where they're at with regards to the number of games that they played. So per game, one per game, league average in the second period is 1.07. So they're below average, and that they're 18th, so middle of the pack on a per game basis. And then in the third period, they have given up 16 goals, which is 17th in the league, 1.33, which is fifth. So they are second in league in giving up goals per game in the first, fifth in the third, and 18th in the second. It's that 8-ball thing. Prospects don't look good. Anyway, so that is goals against, and that takes us to special teams. Power play, penalty kill. All right, Preds are on the road. Okay, so we've already established or beaten to death that Colorado has played 14, Nashville has played 12. So we are talking about on the road, and just as far as, the percentages are what the percentages are, and I don't really think it matters. All these teams have played enough games that the percentages are what they are. The penalty kill at home, Colorado's sixth in the league with 86.8. They've given up 5 goals on 38 opportunities. Have not scored a shorthanded goal. So net they're 10th. As far as goals, their ranking in goals scored, they're actually 31st in goals scored and 25th in opportunities. So that's a good ratio. They've had the 25th most opportunities, but given up the 31st most goals. On a game per game played, their opportunities is, I should keep this in the same order. They're 20th in the league in the number of opportunities they've had on a per game basis, and then goals against on a per game basis, they're 4th, so they're pretty good there. I mean, that's kind of switched that around, which maybe is the wrong way to do it, but they're 4th in the league, 4th best in not giving up a goal per game at home. And then as far as the Preds penalty kill goes, on the road, they're 30th in the league, 69.2%, 12 goals scored against on 39 opportunities. So they've had one more opportunity than Colorado, who's played 2 more games, and they've given up 7 more goals. They have not scored a shorthanded goal, so their net rank is still 30th. As far as goals scored against, they're 9th in the league and being scored against, and 27th in the league in opportunities. So that's not a very good ratio. When you take it by per game, it gets a little better. Number of opportunities on the penalty kill is 14th in the league on a per game average, which makes me feel a little better about how many penalties they take, but 28th in the league in being scored on. So that's not so good. Getting better. Their penalty kill, overall wasn't very good, and they're starting to settle down. Everything about the Preds is on an upward trajectory, and it's just starting to manifest itself, and hopefully they can keep things going. What about the power play? The power play. What are we looking at? The power play. Oh, there's a little cut and paste problem. But anyway, so I still had goals against on this row, and it's actually goals for, but GA is actually the first letters in games. So for games, I had GFMES. All right. For power play, the Preds are on the road. The Colorado, their rank is 15th in the league, which is middle of the pack, 20.3%, 12 goals for on 59 opportunities. They have given up a shorthanded goal, so net they're 17th in the league at 18.6%. On goals scored, they are 9th in the league, and on opportunities, 4th. 4th in the league in opportunities. It seems like they draw a lot of penalties. That would be one way to put it. So then, didn't fix this one. Not total shorthanded, but the total, their total per game of being on the power play, they're tops in the league. So they are on the power play per game more than anybody. And then their goals for on a per game basis is 7th. So, I mean, they're getting, on a per game basis, they're getting the most power plays, but 7th in scoring. So that's explains why they're 15th in the league in the power play. So the Preds here on the road are 27th in the league, 12.5%, 5 goals on 40 opportunities, have not given up a shorthanded goal. So their rank is still 27th overall. Goals ranking is 26th in the league, and opportunities is 23rd. So at least, I have to say that's kind of similar. But but remember, they're 28 teams that have played more games. So the number of opportunities that they've had on a per game basis, they're actually 3rd in the league on the road. So Colorado is 1st in the league in number of opportunities at home, and the Preds are 3rd in the league in number of opportunities per game on the road. Now, as far as goals for, they're 24th, so that's not very good. Yeah. So, yeah, that's interesting. Both of these teams seem to get a lot of, on a per game basis, get a lot of penalties called their way. Oh, right. So that's special teams went a little bit better, I think. People to watch. Let's see here. The Colorado is home, and I think there were a couple of Gabriel Landeskog. You did not put his position. Okay, so we're a little bit already here. We're catching up. We've got our quantum energy squares, and so he's a left wing. And we've got them in the production room, and the staff has started eating them. I do have to correct myself. I thought that I should have gotten 2 of all 6 flavors, and on the box it says you're going to get 3 of this and 3 of another. So that was not a shipping mistake. That was my understanding mistake. But yeah, had. I think I mentioned sent Prudence out with one in her lunch bag the other day, and so she ate that on the way home, actually coming home. But anyway, yeah, quantum energy squares, energy bar. They're nice and the size is actually from lots of different. We've had lots of different bars. They tend to be really long, and it's not as convenient to carry. But these are. These are super easy to carry. They're really good size. They fit into your cycling jersey just fine. I don't run. Prudence does run, but they should be able to fit into her pack just fine. Looks like it's 200 calories a bar. I hadn't looked that up before. 200, at least the salted peanut butter crunch, 200 calories per bar. That's probably about the same. Zero junk. No synthetic caffeine. Well, that can't be. It says 0 grams protein. Well, that's not right. It's got 10 grams of protein. No suspect ingredients. I think they need to up. This is, they're comparing it to the energy drink. Gotcha. Okay, so that energy drink has no protein. Gotcha. Yeah. Anyway, so quantum energy squares, the official bar of the Predators proclivity. Go to quantumsquares.com, use the promo code PredsPro, 25% off. Not going to be distributing those to the Colorado Avalanche, especially not number 29 center Nathan MacKinnon. First on the team in goals, second in assists, so first in points, third in time on ice, and first in shots. And so second is number 88 center Martin Necas, who's second in goals, 5 down, 8. And number letter center Brock Nelson is 7. I'm going to be mentioning him for a different reason in a minute. But there's a drop-off between MacKinnon and Necas. Necas does have the most assists at 16, followed by MacKinnon, and then number 8, defenseman Cale Makar, who's third with 13. So Necas is second in points with 24, and Makar is third with 15. Makar is the defenseman with the most time on ice, 24-31. And he's second in shots with 45. And this is where we start talking about shooting percentage, and we got 4 people to talk about. Number 88 center Necas, second in goals with 8, has 25 shots, so it's 24.2% shooting percentage. Makar did get a power play goal in the game, the second game. He got a power play goal, but he's not top of the team. The reason why I had to mention number 11 center Brock Nelson is because he's tops on the team, 28% shooting percentage on 25 shots, 7 goals, 25 shots. Now, Nelson did get a goal in the last game as well. I think the 2 players at 20%. Number 92 left wing Gabriel Landeskog and number 54 center Gavin Brindley. Brindley back in the lineup. Landeskog has 5 goals. Brindley has 3. Landeskog 25 shots. Brindley 15, both 20%. Brindley has been out. Landeskog did not get a goal in either one of those either one of those games so far this season. For Nashville, on the road, number 71, right wing Matthew Wood leads the team in goals with 7. Steven Stamkos, number 91, center Steven Stamkos, second on the team in goals with 5. And then number 90, center Ryan O'Reilly, third on the team with 4. First up in assists is number 77, right wing Luke Evangelista, and second, Ryan O'Reilly with 6. So O'Reilly is first on the team of points with 10. Stamkos and Evangelista second in points, along with Michael Bunting, number 58, left wing Michael Bunting with 8. And O'Reilly continuing his stats, he's fifth on the team in ice time with 1909. He has 20 shots, so that gives him a 20% shooting percentage, which is second on the team. Also second on the team is Stamkos, 25 shots on 5 with 5 goals. He's second on the team in shots on the road. And then, but tops on the team and shooting percentage is the goal scoring leader on the road, Matthew Wood. 23 shots, 7 goals, a whopping 30.4% shooting percentage. Now, who haven't I talked about? Well, there's defenseman Roman Josi, top ice time, 24-35. It's about it. That's it. That's all we got. And then Shager. that's not a Schaefer is his name. Wow. But this Forsberg guy, where did this Forsberg guy come from? Number 9, left wing Philip Forsberg, first in shots. That's his main stat on the road. And then the first game between Colorado and Nashville, Nashville didn't score a goal. In the second game, the 4-3 shootout, we did have a goal from Marchessault, a power play, which was on a power play. Then Schaefer and Skay got goals, and then in overtime, in the shootout, O'Reilly got the winning goal, but it doesn't count as a goal. Shootout goals do not count towards your doesn't count towards the goaltender against the goaltender, nor towards the player. So anyway, that is the players to watch. As far as momentum, hey, Colorado, 12-0-2. 12 wins, 0 losses, 2 overtime losses. They did win their last game after losing to Nashville, so that makes them 1-0 on this homestand. Their last homestand, they were 2-0-0, beating Montreal 7-2 and Vancouver 3-1. They are 3-0-4 against the Central. They have not lost in regulation against the Central Division. They haven't lost in regulation against anybody. There's no way. There could be a 1 there and not be a 1 in the other place. Anyway, so but no, that's not true because they have lost. They just haven't lost to the Central Division. Okay, so there could be a 1 there. This is just they played the Central. They're 3-0-4 in the Central. So they have not lost in regulation to a Central Division team, and they have not lost in regulation at home. Tonight they are home against the Central Division team. Did I just curse it? Have I done it so much it's not even going to happen? Maybe. So their wins have come against Utah, Nashville, and Chicago, and their overtime losses, Dallas, Utah, Minnesota, and Nashville. So funny, Utah and Nashville both in the wins and overtime losses group for Colorado. For Nashville, they are 4-6-2 on the road. They do have a 2-game winning streak, which is the longest winning streak that they've had this season, and including this one, it's happened 4 times. Their last road trip, they were 1-1, beating Florida 2-1 in overtime and losing to Carolina 3-6. Against the Central, they are 3-5-2. They beat Chicago, Colorado, and St. Louis. Lost to Dallas twice, Winnipeg twice, and Colorado. And then overtime losses to Utah and Minnesota. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I think the Colorado is just quite the powerhouse, and I think the Preds have the ability to rise and play better. And overall, they have played better. Well, overall, what is it? They've got 2, 4, 6. They're 6-2 in their last 8. So, maybe if we take a look at the last 8 games, we see a different team than we've seen the rest of the season. Yuck. Which the rest of the season, which 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which has 6 wins in it. So, yeah, over the last 8-game stretch, they've won as many games as they did in the first however many. So you have to say, it looks like they might have turned a corner back on November 26th and playing a lot better. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of good momentum on the side for Nashville. Colorado, they had a 10-game winning streak. And then they won one, lost one, won 2, lost one, won 2, lost one, won 1. So, I think that there's a lot of Colorado obviously got a lot of good momentum coming into this game. So, hopefully the Preds can bear down. Hopefully the Preds score in the first period. I think the key to the Preds winning tonight, having a chance to win, is scoring in the first period. If they don't score in the first period, I think Colorado's just going to shut them down. If the first period winds up a tie, I think there's a decent chance. Looking back at when they enter the second period tied on the road, they have outscored their opponents 3-2. But when they tie, they're 1-1-1 when they come into when they tie the first period on the road. So, yeah, I think a win in the first period would be really good. Win in the first period, I think that is really the key. If they can exit the first period with more goals than Colorado, I think they got a chance. If they don't, it's not going to look too good over the next period. I'm not sure that they're going to be able to come back in the third period and get the goals in order to tie up this Colorado team. So that's kind of my rough take, just sitting here thinking through it while I'm talking into the microphone. So take it for what it's worth. Anyway, thanks for listening. I'm Preston Proctor. You've been listening, Go Preds, to Predators Proclivity.